Hey there! Welcome to another episode of Isabel Explains. This episode is going to be a bit different because I will not be teaching math or science, but I'll be giving you a sneak peek of who I am, what is my philosophy behind teaching, and why is it that I love math and science so much. The best part is that this video is actually an interview with another YouTuber and math teacher from the Netherlands, Erik van Haren, who has been teaching math for over 20 years and has a really awesome philosophy on teaching himself. Without further ado, let's go. Math explains everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's the.
Oh no, math I think is coming up with logical steps to find a solution, and I think that the beauty of it is that it can be extrapolated to real life. I mean, if you think about it, driving, right? Driving is math, really. You know, it's like you get in your car, you know, you have to do the engine first and then put it on drive and then get on the accelerator. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a logical set of steps. You know, you can't hit the gas before you turn on the car, right? And you won't get to your destination before you turn on the car, right? And it's like, it's that set of logical steps, you know, that would just take you to the answer, to where you want to get to. And I think that's math for me. It's more than numbers. It's more than just numbers. It's the logic behind it.
I like the answer. Math is everything. No, because it's not only driving. Sometimes there are more ways to get to the answer, and that's what I like about math. So that when children, I can explain them to how to drive, but if some children just come with a rocket and just flies, and that's fine too. That's what I find that's extra on it. I don't know if that's a sauce or anything, but there's more than just that. So.
Yeah, and I think it is present in more than we think. You know, like cooking is math. You know, like you've got to have the right ratios of everything, because if you put too much water in that rice, it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, that's true.
Know? My earliest memory that I can remember that I was like, oh my gosh, everything is math. I was either kindergarten or was first grade, actually. And I remember that we were talking about numbers, and we were talking about like, when is it that we use math, right? And I remember we all started talking about, you know, money and, you know, well, in math class, you know, or whatever. And the teacher was like, there's one more thing that we use it all the time and nobody has gotten it yet. And we're like thinking, and she said, time. Like, look, and in Spanish we say when we're about to get to the next o'clock, right? Like if it's like 10:45, right? We say 11 minus a fourth of an hour, basically. And that was, I remember it was my first aha moment of, oh my gosh, math is everywhere. And then I started looking for it everywhere, and I was like, you know, that is a circle, and that is a square, and that is a rectangle, and that is a triangle, you know, and it was like everywhere. And I remember when I was little, I'd have no idea if I ever answered these correctly or not, but my mom had a math book from college, and I would just carry it with me everywhere. I was like 7, 8 years old, and I was just carrying a college math book, like an algebra book, solving for X and whatever. And she was so proud of me, and I was like, I thought I was doing it right. Honestly, I don't know. For all I know, she was, you know, being a parent, she was like, oh, great job. You know, and it was all wrong. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I think that was my very first aha moment of like, she was like, time, y'all. We use time all the time. And I was like,
Lovely. Like, yeah, really the quarto, because quarto is really a quart. So you can see it like a piece of a, wow, that's, lovely. Yeah, that's, I can imagine that must be a nice, but I don't have them from that young experience, but that's really cool. Oh, this is a nice question. What I find the most rewarding? Well, I think I really enjoy helping people, but in a special way. Like, I have this kind of feeling when I teach math, and especially when somebody is with math anxiety or just thinking that, oh well, I know all about math, and when I can give a surprising element, like a really beautiful experience I can give them, or the illusion of a first discovery. I really love that when somebody thinks he discovered something genius. I really like that, to see the faces when they realize that math is beautiful, or when somebody that really has math anxiety and then get that feeling like, oh, but math is not so difficult after all. I can do this. That's those moments I really feel joy. So that's, yeah, I think I find that the most rewarding.
Yeah, we call them here those aha moments.
Yes.
And that is definitely, like, if I had to, in a way, I guess I call it my drug too, you know. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like when you see them go, oh, that's it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome.
Just one?
Oh, or however many you want.
I like to give more than, because it's just difficult to pinpoint exactly the right one. One is that you don't have to know the math to can help somebody with math. So that's a really one that for me is important one, because we tend to think that to be able to help somebody we have to know everything, while in reality is even better when the one that's helping don't know everything, because to be able to teach somebody something, that's not easy, because I made the mistake a lot of times to rush to an answer in wanting to help somebody, not knowing that in that way I rob somebody of their own thinking process. So that would be number one. You don't have to know the math to can help. The only thing you have to do is just ask and be there. So if your child don't know something, then you just ask, okay, what did you try? And then, or what did the teacher say? Or what is in the book? And just be there, like on equal level, just trying to find it out. I think that's my number one advice. And maybe that's a good one. I think I leave it at that. I think that's
really good. Yeah, it never occurred to me, you know, to think of it that way. Like, well, let's just kind of learn it together, you know, instead. And I think that would actually, it gives them more confidence to the students when they realize that you don't know everything, you know, that it's
amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I pretend it sometimes to my children. They also need that confidence. So what I do sometimes is just pretend to not know. So at first I say, well, you should do this and that, but then I don't want them to just copy me. So then I just on purpose say, and there you do this, and then you see them think, what? Wait, you did that wrong. And then, so then I say, no, yeah, then you do that, and I say, but you're sure? I say, yeah, of course. And why? Because I think it's this, and I say, oh no, oh man, you know it better than me. You know, it's like a game, but it's just like trying to get them to lose that sense of, oh, you're the one that knows everything. I have to be. You're my I want them to get that confidence. So
develop that independent thinking, you know.
Yeah.
No, I love that. That's hilarious. I'm gonna do that with my nephew from now on. Be like, oh,
I have one extra that just I have one that was my first experience as a really good experience when I was doing my school for become a teacher. I had some private tutoring by the side just to get some money from it. I was one girl, and she just was so insecure, and then I came to realize that some people just really don't know much. So that was really difficult for me to think like, well, what they don't understand. I just explained it 3 times. So for me, that was really an interesting way to find out that, yeah, you can say the way you have to do it, but that don't mean that somebody knows how to do it. They have to know it. So then I try to explain her, and she just get more confident all the time. And at one point, she just always give me the answer in a question. So like, 21? Then came the point that I just didn't say yes anymore. I said, "You sure?" and later on, when she just, you just play with that until the point that she don't want to say it as a question mark, because she just don't get any response anyway from you. And that's I think is a really nice way to get over that insecurity. So at first you really want to say, "Yes, you're doing good," but if that gets too much and like, yeah, well, you're supposed to know that, then I just play with that and I say, "You sure?" So that's
I try to avoid that too with my students, because sometimes they see me as that security blanket, and it's like, if I say it's correct, then they'll hit submit, and it's like, no, you have to make the decision for yourself. And yeah, I have actually particularly one student that we've been working on that, and just yesterday it was hilarious and I loved it. The fact that she was like, "Oh, I know this stuff. Just sit there and watch," and she was just answering all the questions. I was just laughing inside, because it's rewarding. I was telling one of my students the other day that it was like, this is the most weird job, because it's like, my job is to tell you that you don't need me. That's literally my job.
I like that.
Is to convince you that you don't need me eventually.
Yeah, I like it. There's just this way of, if you do this right, if you really are an artist in this, then you can let children think that you really didn't do nothing. So it's like children just go away like, "I didn't learn nothing." You just don't tell anything, and then in the meanwhile they don't know that you just manipulated them thinking themselves. So your ego just has to not be there, because you have to realize that they just talk about you like, "From that man, I don't know. You don't tell anything." I really find that funny, but yeah, sometimes you just also want the credit. So I'm not sure if how it is, but.
Yeah, that's what I just tell them. Just leave me a review. That's it.
Just always be aware that somebody can surprise you in a negative and in a positive way. Mm-hmm. That is the message I really want to get across. That, okay, no matter how much you trust and really feel that somebody has the power, your teacher is the most amazing teacher, but just don't think that he knows everything. He can make a mistake, and just ask if you think that there should be something on. There's nothing wrong with ask. And also, if somebody always say the wrong things, you just don't know anything, he can be right on occasion. So just give him a chance and to listen. And that is, I think, is important.
Yeah, they say that a broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm not looking at the clock. It's still. No, really. No, that's not. That would be funny.
Yeah. I think I told you I have a student that I was doing a math problem with her, and I was trying to explain to her, and I made a mistake. And I was like, when I corrected myself, I was like, wait a second. This is not right. Like, "Oh yeah, I saw that." I was like, "Why didn't you say anything? Because I thought you were supposed to know everything." And I was like, "Am I goddess now? Like, what?" No, I make mistakes too. You do know that, right? So she's better now at calling me out if I make a mistake. She's like, "Isn't this supposed to be that?" And I was like, "It is. Let me go back, and erase that." I think it gives them a lot of confidence to give them permission to make mistakes, because if they see you making a mistake, who is the role model to follow, and if I make a mistake, you can make a mistake, and it is okay, and we'll laugh about it, and we'll just correct it and move on, So
yeah, I think it's really important to have a mindset that where you just want to do your best and give and be honest and just admit your mistakes and try to learn from it, because I think when you're being vulnerable and being honest, then life can be so much easier. But it takes a lot of confidence to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. It seems like a weakness to somebody that's showing their vulnerability, but when you realize that it's a power and you really take a lot of confidence to show yourself. Mm-hmm. And then that's really helpful. I think that's a good advice you can give to a starting teacher, that just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, because it will catch up on you.
That was going to be my next question. What advice would you have to younger teachers or new teachers?
Okay, well, I just answered it. No, I just think that the most important thing is that to realize that teaching is so hard. It's so freaking hard. You can't give a perfect lesson, and if anybody tells you that he is teaching perfect, I think the person may be narcissistic or just mean it in another way. No, I can say that I teach perfect, but I don't mean they're perfect lessons. I just know that I know how to respond in ways. So I think that, well, I'm really confident about my teaching, but I will never say that my lessons was perfect, because you can always find something that is not right. And if you focus on the things that you do wrong and it's not in balance, then you can really get disillusionated. So I just really would like to give the advice that, you know, the first 5 years of teaching is a survival of the fittest, and you just need to keep hanging in there and just set your goals accordingly. So every day, every time, your comfort zone just stretches up a bit, and don't try to rush it. I mean, it's a long year plan. You have a long life ahead of you, so just learn and try to talk with teachers that understand you, that you level with, that really have, you know, that you think those advices can help you. Also listen to other people, but just don't let it get in your confidence. So yeah, because I remember that for me was really hard to hear the advice that, yeah, well, you should do this in this way. Just look to that teacher and imitate that. And then when I find out that was just not my personality, then I felt my personality is not right to be a teacher, because I have to be more in that way. And then you get in a really a situation you don't want to be in that kind of insecurity, because you have to be able to feel okay with yourself in front of a class when you have 30 children. You can't be somebody else, because you get inconsistent, and if you show inconsistencies, children will see through that and will caught you that, and then you have to defend yourself. It's a situation you don't want to be in. Yeah. So just hang in there and be aware that you don't know and not know a lot, but you're trying, and be okay with that.
That's great advice. Thank you for that. I think that goes back to what I said earlier of, like, sometimes you identify with different teachers for different reasons. Yeah. Right? And I think that you could be the more collected or whatever teacher that might speak to some students, you know, and if you're the goofball and you're the you know, whatever, that might speak to other students.
What I did when I was studying as to become a teacher, we had to do those stages, like internships, I think. Mm-hmm. I did it with somebody that was really a friend of mine, Frank, who is just kind of the opposite of me. I was really intuitively and just go with the flow, and he was just really strict and really structurized. And I remember that when I watched his class, I was thinking like, man, this is not the way. But then I'd see like, but it's really nice to have a structure, and those children know now, so you can see qualities in somebody else that is maybe opposite, and so you can learn from each other. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily wrong that you try to that you watch other people. It's good to broaden your vision, but I wouldn't like if then somebody like that say, well, you're supposed to do it in that way too. I mean, you have to make it your own, and I did some of that, but I still kept it myself. So yes, take the advice, but no, don't try to be somebody that you're not.